What's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto. This is the show where we go live 9:30 Eastern all 5 weekdays, covering everything technical, on-chain, and fundamental about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets because we want to help you achieve this concept of financial sovereignty. What does that mean? Well, we basically just want you to be able to have full control over your wealth, store it into the future, and to be able to pay for and provide for your family, your community, and yourself. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel because we got some very interesting news to cover today. One, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin's really important rally. It's currently sitting around $44,800. Looks like it could be moving in the direction of a pretty major break to the upside. We're also going to be talking about Russia and how they are going to be allowing for oil purchases from allies, or at least nations that don't really dislike them right now, such as Turkey and China, to purchase in either that country's native currency, such as the Turkish lira, or the Chinese yuan, the ruble, which is the Russian currency, or most interestingly to us, Bitcoin. They are theoretically, they haven't announced this fully yet, going to be allowing for other sovereign nations to purchase oil in Bitcoin. And on top of that, Exxon, which is the 20th largest company in the world by revenue, they bring in $250 billion a year, are going to be starting Bitcoin mining using the flare gas from their oil rigs and oil refining. This is a really big story because oil has been in the news lately. It's been in a very interesting predicament as prices have gone through the roof, and now Bitcoin's getting involved as well. So we have a lot of adoption stories to cover today. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out Lux Algo. The link for that's in the description box down below. But before we get started, I do first want to introduce our co-host, Tam. How you doing, Tam?
Martine. It's pronounced Martine.
That's why I told you.
It is, I struggled. And, you know, what I want to do from here on out is let you guys read new names that we've never seen before that are in a different language and see how you do. But it, okay. Martine, I apologize.
Martine.
Martine. Rhymes with fine all the time. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, we're also joined as always by Smay. How are you doing, Smay?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I would like to say, first and foremost, I'm wearing this shirt. Okay? There's something special about the shirt. First of all, it's a turtle coin shirt. Right? You can see it. There's something special about this shirt. I would like to say this is something that got me really excited this morning. This shirt was too small for me when I got it. It was a gift. Right. It was a gift for me for winning the HODL trophy. And I could not wear it. But now, here I am today, wearing this shirt comfortably. So
doing well.
I would like to say I'm very happy about that. But I would like to also say another comment about the NFTs. I just want to make this abundantly clear. I did not flip-flop here. I did not flip-flop. Here's the thing about it. I'm just going to make this very concise. I said I was not interested in investing in NFTs. But I thought the technology was great, so I would invest in the projects that NFTs are built on, okay? Here's the thing about it. I have not changed on that stance. I am not planning to invest in NFTs, but I said nothing about dabbling, and I'm interested in these projects, and in terms of not to make money. Hold on, not to make money, but because I actually think some of the art is kind of cool. So, I will like shout out to TZ. TZ got me my first NFT, and it's a very great Turtle King NFT. And I thought the art was so great that I am now interested in looking into more of this art, and that is my stance. So thank you. And now I would like to read some names.
I just want to start by saying you flip-flopped in that sentence.
You did.
Like that sentence alone was a flip-flop sentence.
Where did I flip-flop?
You said you're not interested in investing, and then you said, yeah, but I'm going to dabble.
You started out by saying, I have not changed my mind. I do not like the way current NFTs are.
But I changed my mind.
But I think the art's really cool, and I want to start looking more.
No. Hold on.
That's a flip-flop.
Again, that wasn't flip-flop. I'm being very clear. Okay, let me be very clear. I am not buying NFTs as a means to make myself more money. I'm not doing that, okay? I don't believe in that. I'm not doing that.
You don't believe in that?
I'm not doing that. I'm
like
interested in acquiring NFTs because I think they're cool art. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not investing. Thank you. All right. The other thing I would like to say is read these green names. Thank you, Temp. These names I would like to read is Ricardo Venegas, Wind Peoples, Crypto AI, The Bitcoinologist. We got Cryptosaurus Rex. We got Cryptoffer. Who else we got here? We got Elliot Locke. We got Adam Rourke. We got Cameron. Who else we got? Crypto Red Fox. You guys are so great. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Well, there you go, guys. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Like I said, make sure to smash that like button. And for the people who are asking, Jebb, did you get married? I did get married on the 5th of March. I almost said the 3rd of 5. I don't know what I was saying. 3/5/2022. Yes, I did get married.
The 3rd
for
of
people.
5.
The 3rd of 5. I got married on the 3rd of 5. No, I got married on the 5th of 3, March 5th. Great day. Second best day of my life. Guys, I am so very, very, after following Jesus. It is such an incredible blessing. I'm so very thankful, but it's also a blessing, a lesser blessing, but it is also a blessing to get to look at CoinMarketCap with you guys. Right now,
We're not going to introduce Kelly?
oh, I'm sorry. Kelly's not in the room. Kelly, welcome to the show, buddy.
What is up, man? I guess I'm coming in hot here. I guess I'm
You're not in studio.
coming in like
You're
a
not
short
in this
liquidation,
room
right?
with us. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's no problem. I'm just super excited. I had a couple people message me. They wondering why I'm here in Florida and I'm not on the stream every day. Well, to let you guys give you a little bit of an update, I'll basically for the time being be on the stream every Tuesday and Friday, not because there's any issue with the stream, but more importantly, we're working on so much stuff behind the scenes, and I'm down here filming a ton of content and working on a bunch of stuff that's going to be released very, very shortly. There may be an announcement today. I'm not sure, but we'll be finding more out about that. But yeah, we're wrapping up Q1 here in the next couple of days, and we have some great things that I'm going to be going over later on in the stream, showing where some trends that might be shifting here into Q2. But with that, why don't we jump now into CoinMarketCap?
Boom sauce. We're going to do it, guys. Right now, Bitcoin is up 4.77% over the last 24 hours. We talked about how Cardano was on a tear, and it looked like it was leading the market. Now Cardano was cooled off a little bit, and we're seeing the rest of the cryptocurrency start to move. This is a rare occurrence where you see one of the altcoins kick off a rally. By the way, you're going to want to stay tuned because you are not going to want to miss what I have to share on this chart right here. I tweeted about it earlier. You're not going to want to miss this because something huge just happened on Bitcoin, but we're going to get there in a second. If you look at ADA, you can see down over the last couple of days, it has gone into a massive run, but right now it's actually in a symmetrical triangle pattern. It is starting to flag out as the rest of the cryptocurrency market is starting to run. What seems to have happened is that we saw Cardano actually start a rally. Now, historically, you will almost always see Ethereum or Bitcoin kick off a rally. Seeing Cardano do it was very, very interesting. Definitely puts a lot of weight and stock behind the idea of Cardano being a contender for, top 5 position, either in the number 3, 4, or 5 position just after Ethereum. I could easily see Cardano jumping up here to number 3 in the next couple of years as its total value lot continues to grow. But we also see Binance Coin up 3%, XRP up 1%. Cardano, funnily enough, actually the only one in the top 10 down today because it's actually already had its rally. In the last 7 days, it is up the most, up 36% in 7 days. We got Luna approaching $100. That's phenomenal. Solana just passed $100. Binance Coin is sitting at 420, nice. And we also see Ethereum is sitting above 3,000 with it currently sitting at $3,177, up 5%. That's a pretty big deal because when Ethereum gets above $3,000, it is starting to approach $3,300, which we're not going to really go into a lot of TA on Ethereum today, but I can just mention briefly that $3,300 is a pretty important level for ETH. I may even have it drawn on this chart. Yes, I do. It's right here. You can see this is the local high that we set back over here on the 10th of February, 2022. So the reason 3,300 is so important is the same reason that 46,000 is so important on Bitcoin. These are the local highs that we set back on February the 10th on both of these charts, and both Bitcoin and Ethereum are fast approaching them. So pay close attention to those numbers, 3,300 and 46,000 on Bitcoin. If we start to see those in the rearview mirror, then we're going to potentially be seeing a pretty large rally. Now, looking at the last 24 hours, we can see Chili's actually the biggest gainer. That one is interesting. Haven't seen a lot of biggest gainer, biggest loser highlights coming out of Chili's, but it seems to be doing pretty well. Tim, do you know of any fundamental developments over on that project? I know you're a fan of it. Yeah.
Yes, they actually had a couple different things working on. They're working with a couple hockey teams in the United States. They're working on coming to the United States. Really big in Europe. With the European soccer clubs obviously having deals with some of the biggest ones like Barcelona and PSG. They're even in the English, the Premier League. But what's really cool is that as they start to come over to the United States, it is a project, as I've done more research on it, I don't know if it's one that people, if you're just thinking to get into a project to make money, I don't know if Chili's is a project for you. I think what it's really cool for, though, is if you're a fan of sports and you want to be more engaged with your team, its ability to integrate and let the fans have more of a say in what's happening, that's where its real use case is. That's why I love it. But I'm going to be honest and real with you guys. If you're thinking, man, let me get me a bag of Chili's and I'll become rich, you might get disappointed.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to remember is that we need to make sure that we are not that we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket, especially in one basket that's sitting at rank number 67. If you're going to go all in on something, I would say go all in on Bitcoin. That's the only cryptocurrency that I would say is safe to really go all in on, because it is the most heavily defended, the most heavily proven over the last 10 years and change. Now, Kelly, there is a little bit of news here about a $3.3 billion Bitcoin options expiry coming in with 42K. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here with these options contracts?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually working on a little bit of content around that yesterday, so my mind's super fresh on it. Essentially, one of the things traders or investors really like to look at when they're trying to really dig into the data before they make a trade decision or an investment decision is, one, how much open interest is on the market, which basically signifies how much like derivatives and leverage trading and options and futures trading is basically giving weight to whatever trend direction that is more heavily invested towards, right? So today is not only a weekly, not only a monthly, but it's also a quarterly options expiry, which is essentially a bit of a weight on the market because of how much money is invested. And it's hundreds of millions of dollars that are invested to be determined at around 11 o'clock this morning, Eastern Standard Time, because this is all, the reason why it's middle of the day is because it's based on the world time, the UTC in London, which is what the essentially crypto charts work on, since it is a global currency, essentially a global market. And so at 11 o'clock, those options basically are finalized, and those that have to either come due on paying or getting paid out, that basically that weight gets taken off the market around 11 o'clock, which is great, because not only is it, like I just said, we're coming into the end of quarter one, but this could be something that really takes off a bit of the pressure going into quarter two, especially now having a more bullish outlook on the market. I think when a lot of these options were set early on, a few weeks ago, a month, 2 months ago, there's a lot of question in the market, a lot of uncertainty, and there still is, but the tailwinds of bullishness have basically just won this sort of argument just by the nature of holding the level that we've held. So it's going to be very exciting to see where we go into quarter two.
Absolutely, and that will lead us into our technical analysis, because there is a lot going on in the market right now. A lot of people have gotten very bored with Bitcoin over the last 3 months. That much is true. However, over the last 2 weeks, things have really started to get a lot more interesting. We've had a lot of very interesting news. We're going to be talking about some of it here in a little bit. Like I said, we're going to be talking about how Russia's energy chief said it would accept Bitcoin for oil and gas. This is a huge deal. And we're also going to talk about Exxon Mobil to pilot Bitcoin mining project with natural gas. This is huge. Exxon Mobil is, if I remember correctly, the 8th most valuable company in the world, and it is the 20th highest revenue company in the world. I got that backwards. It's the 8th highest revenue company in the world, 20th most valuable company in the world by market cap. We're going to look at those numbers here in a little bit, and they're going to be getting into cryptocurrency mining using excess natural gas. Big stories coming right up, but we're going to start with our Bitcoin technical analysis. So Bitcoin, as you know, has been in a rising wedge and has been doing that ever since March the 10th. That rising wedge we broke bullish out of yesterday. Technically speaking, that was the least likely thing to happen. It was more likely that it would trade sideways or break to the downside, but I think we're starting to see more and more people understand the use case of Bitcoin. I'm talking millions of people a week seem to be starting to understand the reason behind Bitcoin's creation was to give ourselves an option against the traditional markets. I will preach this until the cows come home and get up on my soapbox and tell you all day long that Bitcoin was not created to make you rich. It was created to make you sovereign. It was created to make you sovereign over your own finances. It was created to give you FinSov. That's why Bitcoin was made. Not just so you can make a lot of money. In fact, that's not actually the reason Bitcoin was made. It was not made to go on a massive rally, go up 600%, and you make 600%. The reason it was made was to give you a financial instrument which nobody could steal from you, control, or inflate away from you and silently tax you on. That's why Bitcoin was created. More and more people, as there is more turmoil in the global economy right now, are starting to understand the value of that. So that may be part of the reason why we broke bullish, even though we were technically supposed to break bearish. What we saw yesterday is we tested around $44,000, and we actually broke it quite handsomely. We talked about if we can break 44K, then we'll be breaking local highs set on the 1st of March, and then we need to rally all the way up to 46, as I mentioned earlier. If we're able to get to $46,000 and break that confidently and stay above that for 7, 10, 14 days, that's huge, and we could be witnessing the beginning of a new rally on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Another fundamental factor I want to throw at you here. Every day that Bitcoin trades sideways, it actually gets undervalued, even if its dollar value doesn't change. You know why? Because the US dollar is getting inflated at least 1% a month right now. CPI data came out and said 8% officially, and we know that CPI is a massively manipulated statistic. that does not take into account all of the factors such as the massive hyperinflation of the US dollar. I shouldn't say hyperinflation, the major inflation of the US dollar and the massive rising in home prices and housing prices. That causes a lot more inflation than CPI captures. So we're looking at least 1% inflation a month. So if we're looking at that kind of inflation, Bitcoin trading sideways, it's actually getting 1% undervalued. I'm simplifying here for making a point. It's getting 1% more undervalued every single month just by trading sideways. So what we see is that I think Bitcoin is starting to snap back up into territory where it should be, up around $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. We have an opportunity right now to come up here and test that. As Tim has shown many times on his chart, right now Bitcoin is in a ascending triangle. I've drawn it as a descending triangle, but actually it's not a descending triangle anymore because we broke bullish above the downtrend right there. What we're looking at now is that Bitcoin is in an ascending triangle pattern with resistance between $44,000 and $46,000, and then there's a rough uptrend right here with Bitcoin sitting inside of this pattern. If we are able to break to the upside, which the higher lows and the similar highs would indicate that we may be able to, this could be a major trend reversal that would lead us in a very, very bullish direction. But there's actually more reasons that we can see that, because we don't want to base our long-term technical analysis on just the 4-hourly chart, because if we do that, then what we're essentially doing is we're using a microscope to look at the stars. Like we don't want to try and look at something small to look at something big. We want to look at something big to look at something big, right? So if we're looking at a macro trend that could take place over 3, 6, 12 months, we want to be looking at a longer term time frame, not just the 4-hourly chart. So there's something very interesting on the daily and on the 3-daily chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of my favorite indicators. It's called Lux Algo. Lux Algo is a trend indicator. It is not an indicator that really shows you what Bitcoin is doing when it's ranging. It is designed, at least this part of Lux Algo, because there's actually a lot more to Lux Algo that I don't normally show you guys. Lux Algo is designed to show you what trend the market is in. Is it an uptrend or is it a downtrend? And is it a normal or a strong trend? That's what it's teaching us. On the daily chart, we are in a strong uptrend, and every time in recent memory that we have been in a strong uptrend, we see that Bitcoin brings about returns. I'll just go ahead and draw vertical lines on the only confirmed uptrends that we have here in the last couple of years. If we look at these confirmed uptrends on daily chart, it is actually remarkably rare that you don't see a gain coming from this buy signal. These are basically default settings, by the way, guys. You don't have to go in and manipulate this a bunch to do this. I use the exact same settings. I did not go back and change the settings so that it all looks good in historical analysis. These are all the signals that they would have given a year ago, 2 years ago. If we look at this buy signal, 70% to the upside, this buy signal, 110% to the upside, this buy signal, 50%. Every single one of these is bullish. You can see right here, that went on a rally. You can see right here, which is the next confirmed buy signal. We went on a rally, confirmed buy signal, rally, confirmed buy signal, rally. This one doesn't count because trend catcher did not turn red in the first place to require a buy signal. So this is actually just a continuation of this buy signal. Same thing back over here. This one was not confirmed because we did not have green trend catcher. So this sell signal was just a continuation of this sell signal. So when I say confirmed buy and sell signals, I'm talking about using the trend catcher, as you can see right here, to weed out the false signals. What we see on daily chart is that we have a strong buy signal going back to February the 28th, the last day of February. If we look at where we are right now, we're up 11%. So that's great. But out on the 2-daily chart, we can also see that there was a buy signal that came into play back over here on the 8th of February. If you look at the history of different buy and sell signals on the 2-daily chart, they're phenomenal. But then I have a very interesting chart for you out on the 3-daily. If you go to the 3-daily chart on Bitcoin and you look at its entire history, this is the thing I showed you earlier. I actually tweeted this out a second ago, so make sure to follow me on Twitter, because sometimes when I find technical analysis like this, I'm going to tweet it before the next show. You can see it right here. It's over on Twitter. If you come to the 3-daily chart, which is arguably one of the most important long-term charts, because it has the ability to look at longer term trends than the daily chart does, because the daily chart's just a little bit too much resolution. The weekly chart weeds out some very important signals. The 3-daily chart is very, very valuable. If you look at the 3-daily chart, what I prepared for you before stream are every single confirmed buy signal that Lux Algo has ever shown. And I'm using the historical analysis to show you that you can trust the indicator because it's got a very interesting signal I'm going to show you. This is the last confirmed buy signal we saw on 3-daily. It was August the 5th, 2021. This one doesn't count because this strong sell signal was never confirmed with trend catcher. You can see the trend catcher did not turn red to confirm this sell signal. So this strong sell signal is invalid. So is this strong sell signal. I want you to understand I'm having consistent methodology here. This is a scientific process. process we're doing. Before that, we saw a strong buy signal on February the 3rd, 2011. Here, I'm just going to show you all of them, and then I'm going to come back and show you the gains or losses. You can see all of the confirmed buy signals that Lux Algo has ever done in 10 years of history on Bitcoin. Now, we use the latest signal. If we have a buy signal here, but trend catcher didn't turn green until here, then we use this as the point where the buy signal came into play. So in this case, October 25th, 2013. Very quickly, I'm going to run through and show you the gains or losses. In this case, going to the sell signal, Bitcoin gained 467% as a result of that buy signal. Here, going from the beginning to the sell signal, 158%. So we're over 100% each time it's flashed so far. 50%. I'm just going to run through these quickly. Right here, 22%. Right here, we can see that it was 120%. Moving on here, let's go ahead and move through this really quickly. 500%. Right here is the only time, and we have to zoom in to even see it, that Lux Algo buy signal on the 3-daily chart did not actually bring a return. In this case, Lux Algo brought an 8% loss. That's the only time that you've lost money if you use this indicator over the last 10 years. Going forward here, this line should actually be right there because that's when it was confirmed. If we look at this growth, we can see the market grew 156%. I'm almost done. There's just a couple more. Right here, we grew 20%. Right here, we grew 300%. See how this is working, guys? This indicator works very, very well. 58%. Moving forward, right here, we grew 62%. Why do I show you all the historical analysis? Well, it's because we just saw a buy signal for the first time in 8 months on Bitcoin's 3-daily chart. I told you yesterday I was watching for this. I wanted to see if we would have this happen. Now, I need you to understand, this candlestick is not closed yet. If this candlestick closes and we don't have the buy signal, then we're not confirmed. But if we close and we have a confirmed buy signal, that, historically speaking, will more than likely lead to a very large rally. Of these 12 signals that have ever happened historically, disregarding the one that just occurred, 11 of them brought a return. The one that did not bring a return only brought an 8% loss, and the smallest gain of all of the gainers was 22%, and on average, they brought about 100% growth. So if we follow the average and cut the average in half, then because of this signal, we should be expecting Bitcoin to go to at least $60,000 in my opinion. If you want to get Lux Algo, use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off. The link's in the description box down below. You will be glad you did. There's a reason why I love this indicator so much. Now, I want to throw it to Tim, and I want to ask his opinion on Lux Algo, because I know you were a little skeptical of Lux Algo at the beginning. What do you see with this 3-daily chart buy signal? Is this as important as I think it is?
Well, I haven't done as much research on 3-daily as you have, so I'm looking at, even as you're talking about it, watching along with them and looking, and I want to. I do want to see a green candle finally flash. That is, to me, something that really brings confirmation. What I do want to point out in Lux Algo, though, that I'm following, though, is on the 4-hourly chart. And the good news about this is this could change really quickly within the next couple of days. But there's a couple reasons to suspect. Again, as Jebb talked about, we're in an ascending triangle right now. We're at the top of the range of the flat level resistance. So if I was doing nothing but looking at that ascending triangle, I would be tempted to say that alone might be cause to be concerned for Bitcoin's price to be rejected and go back down. But then it gets a little deeper. Lux Algo alone, and I love this green. I love what I see with the trend catcher, a lot of green candles, but we are sitting right now on the 4-hourly chart hitting into this reversal zone, that red reversal zone, or saying going back down. And I went back and looked just to be safe, because I was like, Tim, I don't want to, say something that's wrong. We never get above that reversal zone. I've never seen, right there we got close. Right here, this is the tip. That was the all-time high back in November. We got very close, but we did not extend over. So in history, we don't go above that reversal zone. That reversal zone is really good. So what I'm expecting at least is for Bitcoin, it still has room to the upside, but look at where this reversal zone hits, at right there at that 46,000. I'm expecting us to at least begin to move sideways for a little bit of time over the next couple of days before we actually are able, if this is the time to break 46,000, it's the time to do it. But again, when you look at that ascending triangle, I'm going to turn my Lux Algo off. When you're looking at that ascending triangle, that calls a reversal. When you look at those reversal clouds, that kind of says, hey, at the least it's going to move sideways, if not reverse, and go back down. Then you start pulling up our Bollinger Bands. We are overextended on the Bollinger Bands on the daily chart down. Go over here, the daily chart. I'll look at the 3-daily just to be safe, but daily chart, we're overextended. 3-daily chart, let's look. We're right there at the top of it. So we're not, I wouldn't call that overextended. We have room to grow there, but the daily chart for sure overextended, 4-hourly chart overextended, hourly chart overextended. So these are all 3 charts that Bollinger Bands is even saying, hey, it might be time to semi-stop this exponential growth. The good news is, however, and it's good and bad, and you guys know how much I love RSI. RSI divergence, if we were thinking bearish RSI divergence, which calls reversals, there's no bearish RSI divergence set up on the hourly. There is none set up on the 4 hourly. There's none set up on the daily. This is all great signs. The only thing is the daily chart, I like that one. 4 hourly chart though and down. Now we're starting to get into RSI. I love it for bearish and bullish RSI divergence, but you also pay attention to those numbers. We're above 70. A lot of times in the RSI, when you're above 70, that's not a great buy zone. That's kind of a saying, hey, we are a little overextended. This is a high price. No, there's no bearish RSI divergence, but right now, currently on the 4 hourly, we're sitting at 74. Going down to the hourly, we're sitting at 77. So these are all things that it's a balance act here. I do think potentially Bitcoin could go ahead. Right now, just broke 45,000. It could get to 46,000, but my concerns about it breaking through have not been quenched. Someone asked me on Twitter, Tim, do you think this is when we're finally going to do it? And I said, I have to see it before I believe it. Bitcoin has broken my heart before. I do think in the long run we're going up and to the right, but until I see it officially break and confirm above 46, and I'm looking at these different technical indicators that are calling reversals on it and saying, hey, you're getting into some territory where you're a little overextended. I think if we were really optimistic, I would say at best, we really should kind of even hope for a sideways movement, consolidate, let the numbers retrace a little bit, and then have another rally. But the downside is we might be seeing a lot of things come together to say, hey, this was a great peak. It is a peak, though, and it's going to go back down.
Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. I personally think it's important for us to understand that right now, Bitcoin's major level to look at is $46,000. Taking a look at the hourly chart, you will be able to see that 46K is the level to beat. If you're looking to enter a long trade right now, I think that's a mistake if you were doing a short-term trade. Now, if you're investing, go to town. Bitcoin's going to do well over the next 3 years. But if you're looking to enter a long trade, you kind of missed the boat because we're right next to the major resistance that Bitcoin has a strong chance of rejecting off of. If you enter a long trade right now, I personally think you're making a mistake. Now, if you enter a long trade after we break $46,000, that's not as bad of an idea because there are a lot of shorts on Bitcoin right now that are going to get liquidated above $46,000. I don't have the chart up right now, but I'll bring it up in a little bit, hopefully, if we have a chance. There are a lot of shorts that are sitting up above $46,000 having their liquidation and their stop price up there because that is the local high set on February the 10th. So if we do manage to breach above that level, that is going to be a big deal, and then that might be the place that you enter a long. So instead of thinking about entering a long here at 45, if you're going to go into a long for the next, week or two, or just try and do a swing, just try and do an intraday trade, I would personally let you wait for about 40. I would personally wait for about 46.5. Wait for some volume to come in, be breaking 46, and then that, in my opinion, would be a great place to set a trade.
What's cool? Even the TA. You don't have to go to my chart for this, man. The TA is showing why 46 is really significant. But just so you guys know, even people who are not technical analysts, they don't even like technical analysis. That's fine. Teach his own. It's become a psychological barrier as well. It is something that, just so you guys know, just because we want to go to 46, a lot of people have probably put sell orders at 46,000. So it's not saying this momentum can't break through and finally go through it, but just it's going to be a fight. The technicals are showing that, but even the psychological barrier that traders and investors are using right now and saying, that's a peak, I can take some profit right there. It's not going to just blast through it. I fully expect if we hit 46, watch it go down, move sideways, and build up some momentum to weaken that psychological barrier, and then it'll break through.
Sounds good. Well, guys, we're about to go ahead and move into a period of reading some super chats. Before we do, I want to bring you a word from our sponsor because this is really cool. This is for you guys. You guys know I Trust Capital is a sponsor of the show. They're the place where you can use your retirement accounts to invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And they've got a really special announcement. 2 lucky subscribers to this channel are going to win a ticket to Bitcoin 2022. That's the conference that myself, Tim, and Smay are going to be at come April 6th through the 9th. And like I said, that's all thanks to our partnership with I Trust Capital. They wanted to bless 2 people, and they're so excited to announce the winners. We are so excited to announce the winners on Friday, April the 1st. That's a week from today. So to be entered to win, you need to like the stream. You need to comment Bitcoin, not in the chat, in the comment section below this video, and retweet the pinned tweet on our Twitter. So make sure that you go and do all 3 of those things to get entered to win, and hopefully you can win a ticket to Bitcoin 2022. That is a word from our sponsor, but now we can go ahead and move into the couple of super chats that we have.
Yeah, so the first thing I did today on the super chats, I don't know what just happened to my throat.
I feel that.
Gracious.
That happens sometimes.
I proofread the names, and I think I'm going to be okay. The first one, though, I don't think I'll butcher it the way I got old Martine wrong, but Talha Gulzar.
Talha
I think it's
Gulzar.
good.
Gulzar.
But
Welcome.
Talha just became a new Jedi youngling.
Woo!
So
Welcome.
But again, if I pronounce that wrong, let me know.
I don't know if your proofreading helped you very much.
Hey,
I don't
you
know
know
if
what?
it helped very much, yeah.
You read it. What did you think? Say the name.
Talha Gulzar.
Let us know who is closer. All right, Terrace B just wanted to donate. Thank you so much, Terrace. Ryan Neese said, I challenged Tim, and he said, to the biggest The Office fan contest. Ryan, you don't want to accept challenges that you'll lose like that. I will win that one
Pick your battles.
down. I think
Tim,
Alchemist, I saw in chat, said he wants to be in that as well.
Tim told me one time a year ago, and it's been a year since this, so he's done probably at least 5 or 6 more times, that he has watched through the entire Office 26 times.
It's
That's
probably
what he told me.
approached closer to 30, honestly.
That's
There are
okay.
probably whole
I
episodes
can't talk. I've spent
could
probably
quote.
15,000 hours playing video games in my life, but that's a lot.
Ben Therium said, when will we see the Tim Smay beef squashed with a paintball match?
Well, Tim, your wife literally just posted in the company chat 5 minutes ago that she wants to do paintball and she needs people to join.
Listen,
so
Taylor will use any excuse. She's been wanting to play paintball for a while now.
I've been wanting to
This
play
is a
paintball
great-
since 10th
Hold
grade.
on.
I've never done it.
Hold on.
So we're saying we just Smay and I in a field together,
Stop.
like quick draw.
Can I say something?
Yep.
I love Tim. All right.
You do?
And I just want to, but I have a lot of forgiveness in my heart. Yes, he injured my back, and yes, he insults me unprovoked. But you know, I still know he does it for my betterment. So I appreciate him.
Well, first
and
of
if you
all-
try to respond, I'm gonna mute you, Tim.
No, not mute me. I will yell because other mics will pick me up. I didn't hurt your back. You were playing basketball with me, and you came into me.
So
you hurt yourself on me.
First of all,
and second of all,
that's
you
not true.
unprovokedly, does he not insult me unprovoked all the time?
You started, Tim.
I did.
Yes.
I'm on Smay's side here. You normally started.
Gosh. All right, last one we have here. Elliot Locke. Is it realistically possible for Russia to use Bitcoin without world governments coming down hard on crypto? If so, what could the governments do to counter it without hurting investors? This is the exact question, Elliot, that
That's a great
I am
question.
wondering, and we're probably going to discuss here in a little bit.
That's a fantastic question. It transitions us well into our next segment, talking about Russia and talking about...
Oh, I did not mean to push that button. Sorry. I have to say something. He said in the chat that I said his name right.
Oh, there you go. How about that?
Boom.
Well, Elliot Locke is talking about is it realistically possible for Russia to use Bitcoin without world governments coming down hard on crypto? Yes, it is, if we speak up. So the thing not all countries have free democracies. Not all countries give you the ability to vote for all the people that are in office. However, it's impossible to silence you. You can try, normally doesn't succeed if enough people are talking about it. Patrick Bet-David once said recently that cryptocurrency has turned into a political party. And I think he's right. It is a very small political party right now, but give it 5 years, it'll be a major contender because it's a big voice what's going on here. This is a cultural revolution, the likes of which we have not seen since social media and the internet. It's a big deal what we're dealing with here. So if world governments try to crack down on Bitcoin as a result of Russia using it, they're going to fail. Now, it might hurt Bitcoin in the short term, but in the long term, it'll only exemplify the reason why Bitcoin was created in the first place, which is to give you and me control of our currency back from those tyrants that would desire to take the control of the finances away from where it truly belongs, which is in your hands and my hands, so that us Christians can surrender it to the Lord. If so, what could governments do to counter it without hurting investors? There are a lot of ways that governments can counter Russia doing that, such as all the things they're doing. Just simply banning transactions and then cracking down on it without cracking down on cryptocurrency. You can crack down on Russia without cracking down on the currency that they're using. There are plenty of ways to put in sanctions without using the currency that is being used as the underpinned asset. So I don't think that's something that governments have to do, although they will probably try and claim that that is something that they have to do. With all of that said, Kelly, we haven't heard from you very much. I actually want you to introduce this story about Russia's energy chief saying it would accept Bitcoin for oil and gas. And I want to talk a little bit about the geopolitics of this. Can you lead us into this conversation, Kelly?
No, absolutely. You know, it's been kind of speculating, and you brought it up on stream a number of times before that, you know, world reserve currency is essentially over the course of the last 1,000 years plus, longer than that, I believe, has basically gone on about 100-year, 150-year sort of increments.
About the last 500 years or so. That back before then, world reserve currency didn't really even exist.
Well, yeah, I guess that would just be the local empire reserve currency, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, it goes on rotation about every 130 years or so. And the US dollar has been on that basically since World War II. And the interesting thing I find about this is the fact that oil and energy predominantly, which is what oil is really what I consider being like the number one market driver of the world economy. And it's funny to see how much FUD has come about around Bitcoin as Bitcoin has emerged and now is poking its head above the top of the clouds of all that FUD to show how incredibly powerful and incredibly valuable it is, not only as a store of value, but actually a transactable driver of participant in the world economy. And now that you have Russia starting to accept a Bitcoin for oil and gas, and also this other story we'll be going over, Exxon Mobil basically using their burnt off gas to, instead of it just being wasted, not only emissions into the environment, but also just wasted use of energy, because that they can harness that and use it for Bitcoin mining, which is what they're going to be doing. So the interesting narrative that I find here is one, is this the true start of the fall of the US dollar as world reserve currency? And two, the second half of that is it's interesting that oil and gas has been the driver of the world economy. And now as Bitcoin is emerging across the geopolitical stage, that Bitcoin is now harnessing the idea of energy, which is the driver of the world economy, but now using that as a store of value within Bitcoin. So it's almost like all signs point to bullish with this, because the level of development and growth that's going to come out of this, I think, is going to be exponential. And I think, we won't even know what that means until 25, 30 years have elapsed, and we start to not only see the adoptions taking place, but how that's going to precipitate across all the rest of the world economy.
And the thing you have to realize, guys, is that it took 30 years for people to understand why the incandescent light bulb was such a big deal. And it's not like people were any less intelligent 100 years ago. Sometimes we think like, oh, wow, people didn't have the internet. They didn't have all this stuff. They didn't have all this stuff. They must not have been as smart. No, they were probably smarter because they didn't have the internet to dumb down their brains. They didn't have TikTok to take 4 hours of their life away every day. The point is, people were very smart back then. 100 years ago. I remember my grandmother, while she was still alive, rest in peace, she told me about her mother. It was either her mother or her grandmother. I think it was her grandmother, who they literally, as a family, had one incandescent light bulb holding down from a string, from a cord, and they just sat there and they looked at it for like 3 hours, and they're like, what the heck is this thing? It's got light coming. It's not on fire. What is going on? It took 30 years for human beings who are very, very intelligent to understand just how big of an impact the light bulb would make, right? Light bulb moment does not happen in a second. Happens over the course of 3 decades. This is a paradigm shift, the likes of which we have not seen in finances since the creation of the international banking system 500 years ago. That's why there wasn't an international world reserve currency over 500 years ago, because the banking system didn't exist. Bitcoin is the biggest shift in world financial history since the foundation of the banking system. I do mean that. That is the biggest change, biggest technological and societal development that has happened since then. It's going to take time, people, to understand what's going on. But let me try and break it down for you as simply as possible. Bitcoin is digital energy. We had an interview with Michael Saylor that we filmed last Thursday. It's going out tomorrow. Watch it. He'll break this down in a lot of detail. Great interview. If you don't know who Michael Saylor is, you should watch everything he's ever done, because he's really good at explaining Bitcoin from a physics standpoint. Sounds complicated. It's actually very much more easier to understand because it's tangible. You understand that your phone is tangible. It's harder to understand why Bitcoin is tangible. We have content on that too. The point is, Bitcoin is digital energy. It is scarce, and you can put money into it. You can take money out of it. It acts like a water tower. You can pump value up into the storage system, which is Bitcoin. It will never lose the value because it doesn't have a 2% inflation going on, 8% inflation going on, a 2% property tax going on, 2% inflation of the gold reserve going on, gold mining going on. It will always store its value into the long-term distant future so long as people continue to adopt it. The paradigm shift of the fact that you can store value into the long-term future with a currency, with an asset, like Bitcoin, is a huge deal. It's going to take time to understand that. So what does that have to do with Russia saying that it would accept Bitcoin for oil and gas? People don't get how big this is, but the thing is, you don't actually need to understand, all of the individuals don't need to understand just how significant it is that a country is going to do something like this. We just need to understand that this might be on page 13 of the newspaper right now, metaphorically, but this is one of those stories that we look back on the history and we're going to say this was an inflection point for the growth of Bitcoin. I am not touching politics with a 10-foot pole in this segment talking about Russia. I understand Russia's mixed up in a war that they should not be in. I'm not in support of it, to be clear. I will have an opinion on that. But what I will say is that a sovereign nation saying that they're going to accept Bitcoin for oil and gas, that's a big deal. Now, also, talking about Exxon, I have this up here, companies by revenue. I was looking at this earlier over on a site called Companies Market Cap. I wonder where they got the idea for that name. Exxon Mobil is the 11th largest company in the world, that is doing $276 billion a year in revenue. And if you look at the market capitalization charts over here, you can see by market cap, it is the 19th largest company in the world, and they are going to be experimenting with mining Bitcoin and natural gas. You want to know how much money mining can make? One of the things I noticed over here is that in the last several years, NVIDIA, which for all of the gamers out there will know exactly who this company is actually the 8th largest company in the world. I did not expect that. I thought they were still down around 50. They have skyrocketed ever since 2019, and a lot of that has to do with chip manufacturing and card manufacturing going straight into miners. If you want to know how big of an impact a company investing in cryptocurrency can have on that company's market capitalization, look no further than NVIDIA. Because Exxon is doing this, they could end up making millions, billions of dollars mining Bitcoin. That would change the face of what Exxon Mobil is doing. Now, I'm about to put on a very speculative hat here. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but just bear with me here for a second. Exxon Mobil is thinking about mining Bitcoin with natural gas. So they could be pivoting, not many of their operations, probably like 1/100% of their operations towards Bitcoin mining. But what happens when the world continues to move away from oil and natural gas? What happens to a company like Exxon Mobil that is built and predicated on the oil and natural gas industry? What happens to Exxon Mobil, which is ranked number 19, and you scroll down a little bit and you look at Shell, which is ranked number 48 on companies market cap at $200 billion? What happens to $500 billion in market capitalization worth of oil and natural gas exploration and extraction companies? Well, they have to pivot or go out of business because their entire business model will be quite literally evaporating over the next century as the world transitions away from oil and natural gas. Where do they turn to? Well, that might have something to do with why Exxon Mobil is piloting a Bitcoin mining project, because who's to say Exxon Mobil couldn't pivot itself and start doing Bitcoin mining in a big way as it starts to lose market share towards electric vehicles and renewable energy generation? It's just a thought, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, Kelly.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. My mom is as traditionally minded as you can be. She's incredibly smart fiscally in terms of how she invests, and she went from basically having no investment to having 7-figure plus in investment from early in the 90s to when she retired. And I've been trying as hard as I can to orange pill her. And she said, Kelly, I'm just not comfortable investing in crypto yet, but I am trying to get crypto exposure through other companies. And one of the companies that she invested in about 2.5 years ago was NVIDIA,
Oh, wow.
specifically because of what you just said, because she saw that NVIDIA was one of the key manufacturers for mining, which is basically direct secondary exposure to the crypto market.
Mm-hmm.
And she's experienced, not Bitcoin gains, but as compared to other assets that she could have invested in, she experienced astronomical gains in comparison in the matter of like 30 or 50%. I'm not sure. It depends on the month you're asking. But so a lot of different people are doing this. And it's, I think as people become more comfortable with that, it becomes a gateway to then, as Bitcoin becomes more standardized and more blue chip amongst traditional minded people, we're also going to see people start moving and instead of being just exposed to secondary companies to then move their exposure directly into crypto.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that we need to keep in mind, is that everybody has their own way of getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I think everybody in this room had heard about Bitcoin before they actually got into Bitcoin, but there was something that happened that made them think, oh, wait a second, this might actually be worth my time. For me, I had heard about it in passing. I had heard about Ethereum mining. Right before I got into Bitcoin, I was a huge gamer. And I watched all these videos on building computers. I loved building computers. I'd done it several times. Everybody kept talking about how, oh man, all the graphics cards are just disappearing because they're all going to Ethereum mining. I'm like, what in the world is Ethereum? What are you mining? What you're mining a currency? Like, what, huh? You're using a graphics card to mine, riot points on League of Legends. It's a digital currency. What is a digital currency? Don't they just use those in video games for MMORPGs? And I started looking into it. I'm like, wow, actually, I can make some money doing this with this whole Bitcoin mining thing online. And then I got into it. I didn't get into Bitcoin mining. I got into Bitcoin cloud mining, and that's how I got started. Everybody has their own way of getting into crypto. Maybe the way of getting into crypto is, as you just said, is by getting into NVIDIA as a secondary investment into crypto. The point is, there's a paradigm shift going on. If you've been in crypto for 5 years, like Kelly and I have been, you have witnessed a good portion of that paradigm shift. And Kelly, I want you to fast forward in your mind 5 years. Based on what you've seen in the last 5 years, what do you think the paradigm is going to look like in 5 years compared to now, with how quickly we're understanding crypto?
Well, first things first, I think it's the biggest shift between now and 5 years ago is the market was driven by retail. And I do still think that retail will have an incredibly large part going into the future. But the difference is now the level of institutional and big money that's come in to cryptocurrency is unparalleled from where it was even a year and a half ago, right? I mean, that's the crazy thing to think about is how impactful Michael Saylor has been in the scene. And he's only been in now, I think, just over a year or right at a year or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's incredible how fast the wind shift. And so Goldman Sachs has shifted their tune. We have Exxon Mobil now starting to move into it. Governments around the world are looking into it. Some governments have made it legal tender. Other governments are looking at it becoming legal tender. And so what I'm seeing happen over the next 5 years is just like any parabolic curve, we're going to have more and more. And again, we're wrapping up Q1. And I've said this, I think every week that we've done Twitter Spaces, I've mentioned how excited I am for this quarter to wrap up so we can start looking at the Q1 earnings report sometime mid-April, because I do think, especially with a lot of the on-chain data that shows the amount of transactions that are happening right now in this dip, the buying, the thing that supported this high floor that we have, rather than just capitulating down to 27 or 24 or 20, is the fact it's not retail. Retail is essentially evaporated out of the market. It's all this large smart money institutional investment that's coming in. So I am very excited to see those earning reports, because I do think we're going to have an incredible explosion of price action in mid-April when we start seeing those, and there's a lot more players that are involved in the scene than we were aware of.
Yeah. So, Kelly, let me just ask you one more question to kind of tie all of these stories and all of our technical analysis up into a nice, neat bow. Based on what we're seeing happen with different sovereign nations moving in the direction of using Bitcoin over the traditional US dollar, based on what we're seeing with different sovereign nations fully adopting Bitcoin, different states, different municipalities in the United States, are we witnessing over the last 2 years the beginning of the fall of the US dollar?
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's just like trying to spot a bear market. You know, when the second the price drops $1,000, when you're at 69 or $68,000, you're not going to call that you're in a bear market, right? And the reason why we haven't said in a macro term yet on our channel that we're in a bear market is because technically we never broke below that 29,000 level to form that true lower low. So on a macro term, we're still definitely in a bull market. And as it terms with the US dollar, we're not going to fully notice it over until probably the next 20 to 30 years. It's going to be a slow burn for that to happen. But the point of any smart investor or any smart trader is to see the signals starting to line up to give you an indication that something's going to happen before the masses notice that it's happened. So I do think that ball is already starting to roll, especially with what we just mentioned about the different, Russia accepting Bitcoin for gas, Exxon Mobil, all these major institutions that are traditionally minded normally, and the fact that Bitcoin has far outperformed, I think, every single hedge fund except for one. And the one that it didn't was because they ended up jumping in on that GME, the GameStop sort of bandwagon last year. But Bitcoin's outperforming every asset in the world. So it'd be hard for me to see that I don't even want to call it the US dollar falling, but I'd rather say that Bitcoin really steps up to the plate and displaces basically all other world currencies.
And I think that's what you're going to see happen. You're going to see Bitcoin really start to take a lot of dominance over the next several years as different countries, companies, and corporations start to adopt Bitcoin in a big way. Let's go ahead and read some super chats. And in about 7 minutes, we're going to see who wins the HODL trophy. We're pretty sure it's going to be Kelly. Isn't that right?
Smay.
Or Smay. I'm sorry. Smay had the highest prediction. That's right.
Yeah, we have the first one actually. So I read the name, but for some reason in the document there was no chat there. So Kelly, you said he tweeted at you. What was his name? Terrace B.
Yeah.
Can you read what he said there, and then we can answer that one? Because I think it's to you anyway.
Yeah, it says, Kelly, what's going on with ADAX lately? Any update? Well, I'm glad you asked this question today, not on Monday. because yesterday and today they got 2 new exchange listings. Yesterday was BitTrue, which I think they do right around $3 billion in total in trading volume daily. And today they got listed, they announced this morning right before we came in, they got listed on MEXC, which is, I think it's like number 12 or number 15 on top exchanges. They're over $4 billion in daily trading volume. But in addition to that, in the Telegram group for ADAX, which any investment that I make, I try to join all the Discords, the Telegram, so I can stay up to date on all the info. And the CMO basically also acknowledged that next week, they'll also be giving a preview of the version 2 update that they've done. And they completely are shifting models from being, I think they were just doing order book model, which was the version 1. And as great as that idea in theory was, I guess it really stole the ability to have a lot of total value locked, which is what really drives a lot of investment. So they're shifting their model now to being an AMM, an automated market maker, and having liquidity pools and all those sorts of things that are highly attractive to investors. So I'm really excited to see what's going on with that. And the market's already exploded. The ADAX asset has already exploded 30 or 40% in the last 4 or 5 days. So I'm excited about it. Still bullish. Haven't sold any coins. In fact, I DCA'd in when it was down at 15 cents. So I'm bullish.
Nice. Good deal.
We have one from, okay, so Mike G, if you wanted to say something, Mike G, I'm not seeing any comment here, so let me know if I missed that. John D said, thanks, gentlemen. Thoughts on Link's recent pump?
Thoughts on Link's recent pump? I haven't looked at it too much. I like Chainlink. I hold Chainlink, but I have not looked at the rally all that much. It doesn't look like it's done much different than any of the other projects. It's up 2.5% today and up 11% over the last 7 days, so I think it's just kind of hanging in there with the rest of the cryptocurrency markets.
All right, and I think the last one I see here, unless something popped up while I was reading, was Cryptopher said, if China changes its mind again and resumes the uptake and mining of Bitcoin and crypto, will this make a major impact on price?
Yes, it probably would, but they've kind of lost the game on Bitcoin mining. Over 50% of Bitcoin mining was in China, which was concerning. And then they banned it, and now 0% of it, or next to 0% of it's in China. So China is the second largest economy in the world, so what they say carries a lot of weight, but they don't really have any impact or influence over Bitcoin because their trump card was that they had all the Bitcoin mining. Well, they no longer have any of the Bitcoin mining. So China used to have their opinion used to matter a lot more because they had all the mining. Now it doesn't as much because they don't. And the other reason why China's stance on Bitcoin matters is because there was this idea that, oh, well, if you ban Bitcoin in the country, then, well, 1.4 billion people can't use Bitcoin. Well, one, a lot of people are just going to go straight around that because they want to use Bitcoin. And especially in a nation like China, they want financial sovereignty. And two, they are already moving very heavily in the direction of CBDCs and other very, very centralized digital currency solutions. So do you think they're ever going to want Bitcoin, something that will help give their people financial sovereignty, when they want to have all of the financial sovereignty for themselves being the central government in Beijing? No, they want to have all of the power. So China, whenever China speaks on Bitcoin and crypto, they had a card to play before, which was Bitcoin mining. They have now played that card. They don't really have a hand anymore, so I'm perfectly content to call the bluff if they say anything, because they just really can't do anything other than instill FUD. Now, that does have power. We know that, but the FUD would be completely unsubstantiated and there's no backing to it. So we need to remember, whenever we are feeling scared, we need to remember that unless there's something to actually be cautious about, we should not be feeling scared. And to be honest with you, we shouldn't be feeling scared anyway. We should have trust and confidence and faith in what Bitcoin is doing. I'm not saying don't be wise and don't be cautious. Definitely be wise and cautious. But make sure that you understand that whenever FUD comes out, what is backing it up? Same thing with FOMO. What is backing it up? Is it based in reality? China can't and is not going to do anything that can harm Bitcoin. They're just not. I don't see any way that they could, other than skewing public perception. The way we can fight that is by making sure people understand what the fundamentals are.
Real quick before we go on, I just wanted to share this this image. This is exactly what you're talking about. This is government regulations trying to ban Bitcoin, and Bitcoin it's just too strong. It's not something that you can really put any sort of bounds on by any regulation.
That's
it might
so
make
funny.
a dip happen in terms of traders selling on the speculation.
Swerve.
However, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is resilient, it's transparent, and it really is the only option moving forward.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It is. So Let's see here. We have 1 minute.
It's going to be Smay. I do think it's funny, Smay. Go to my screen real quick. I'm on the minute chart. And so you guys see, I'll scroll so you guys can see this. I drew the lines on this chart of where it would need to be. It needs to be below this blue line for Jebb to win. We haven't been there for a while, so Jebb didn't. This morning, though, it looked like we might have some hope. This yellow line, I'm everything in here, and we rejected. We come back down. We broke through. And then literally here, like, what? Almost 10 minutes ago, the price came down, and it's like, if this is not proof that Smay is the composite man, Smay saw this price dipping right here and this little wick right above that yellow line and said, all right, guys, we're going to flip it, send it back up. So I don't know if it's official. It's not 10.25 yet, but Smay is everything in this yellow between green. Everything above green was Kelly. Smay does win. He wins this week. This is the breaking. I think Kelly and I estimated it's about 10 weeks. It's been 10 weeks since a non-Tim or Kelly win has happened.
There you go.
So,
well, congratulations, Smay. Do you have any words that you'd like to share?
Congratulations, buddy.
Yes, I would like to say to everybody, guys, I'd like to dedicate this award to Tim, actually. I think Tim is a really good friend, and our beef is it's like a wave. It comes and goes. But I would like to also dedicate this trophy to the turtles. Guys, save the turtles, and that doesn't mean use plastic straws. I think paper straws are dumb.
They are.
I think a better way. Oh, thank you.
Hot take, but true take.
Thank you. I think that the best way that you can help support the turtles is to donate to organizations like the TSA, the Turtle Survival Alliance. That is a great place to be able to help out turtles. Another thing I'd like to say, I'd like to just say that crypto's good. Crypto's a good thing. Bitcoin's a good thing. You guys should dollar cost average. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. Make sure that you dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Make sure you hit that like button. And also make sure you check out Lux Algo. The link's in the description box down below. If you enjoyed that technical analysis, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that post notification bell. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Let's see. Do we have any other super chats before we wrap it out for the weekend? Any final thoughts before we wrap it out for the weekend, guys?
Well, I definitely wanted to share that tech dev chart showing the start of the new trend likely coming into Q2.
Yeah, show that.
Let me go ahead and pull that up right here. Boom, here we go. So this is a chart I wanted to show, and we had tech dev last night on Crypto Answered, and if anybody wants to listen to that, that's shared on my Twitter, and I think also on Jebb's Twitter. Really great conversation. But this is essentially an indicator that I hadn't been aware of that he showed me, which is called the Vortex indicator. And this basically measures the changing of trends, the buy side pressure versus the sell side pressure. And when you're really, and not only that, the way he has this marked out, this is on a 3-week chart. So this is basically just short of a month, which is a fairly large time frame. So you can look at it with quite a bit of confidence. And the red line is a sell side pressure. And as you see here, the sell side pressure comes up quite dominantly. And as that comes up and crosses, we get that capitulation down. Right here at this local bottom, this was also the bottom of the blue line is the buy side pressure. So the buy side pressure bottomed, and then as it crossed, we ended up getting this very large move to the upside. And basically where we're at right now, this shows that we had a local bottom, which I honestly think was the bottom at the 33K level. And we haven't confirmed this yet. I think we have 2 days left to confirm this signal, but this is crossed on the blue line back above the red line. The buy side pressure, the trend momentum is starting to flip very bullishly. And if this closes on Sunday without a major drawback on price in the next couple of days, this will be incredibly bullish going into Q2. So I just wanted to share that and give people a little bit of data hopium. It's this great show, and really happy we could share all this with everybody.
Absolutely. Well, Smay has something to say before we wrap it out.
Yes, guys. If you are curious where we're going to be at in a couple weeks in April, guys, we're going to be at Bitcoin 2022. Guys, this is going to be so fun. We're going to have a great time. You get to hear from a bunch of great speakers. You have the likes of Michael Saylor,
Safadi and Amos,
Jack Mallers, all these great speakers, Kathy Wood, even Jordan Peterson's going to be there. Then you have the Sound Music Festival, Sound Money Festival, Music Festival. It's a great name. You have the likes of like Logic and Steve Aoki if you like that kind of music. It's great. So I'm going to just say me, Tim, and Jebb are going to be there. It's going to be great. If you want to get, here, let me run this real quick. Let's see, it's this one. Yeah, 10% discount. You use Moon 2022 when you hit the link down below.
What a great coupon.
It's gonna be, man, I just can't wait to see you guys there. I'm gonna give you a hug. I'm gonna shake your hand. I might even bring little turtle stickers to hand out. It's gonna be great. So I want you guys to be there.
And guys, remember, if you want to go to Bitcoin 2022, but you don't want to get a ticket, you can enter for a chance to win with our sponsor, I Trust Capital, because they're giving away 2 tickets to Bitcoin 2022. To enter, you need to like this stream. So let's see if we can't get to 1,000 likes. You need to comment Bitcoin not in the chat below the stream and retweet the pinned tweet on our Twitter for a chance to win a ticket to Bitcoin 2022. Guys, that's all the content we got for you today. Be staying tuned, because tomorrow the amazing interview that I conducted last week with Michael Saylor will be going live on this channel, and I think it might be the best interview that we've ever done. It was an incredible interview, and I can't wait for you to see it.
If everybody can, do yourself a favor, make sure to go and follow the real Crypto Jebb on Twitter, which is just at Crypto Jebb, not underscore, not anything bizarre, because there's so many fake accounts out there. There's some really incredible, wonderfully exciting major announcements that will be coming out very soon on some projects that we've been working on for the better part of a year.
Over a year.
Definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we got some big announcements. I believe you're going to hear a little bit about it come Monday, the 28th. But we are over time. So guys, before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.